This song didn't become legendary because of a chart position, a viral moment, or a marketing push. It became legendary because it refused to be written the way its creator originally intended. Total Praise was born during one of the most exhausting and uncertain periods of Richard Smallwood's life. And yet, instead of sounding like a cry for relief, it emerged as something far more lasting, a song that quietly crossed churches, cultures, languages, and even belief systems. What makes this moment remarkable isn't just how the song sounds, it's why it sounds the way it does, and how that decision reshaped modern gospel music in ways most listeners never consciously noticed. And once you hear the full story behind Total Praise, it becomes impossible to hear it the same way again. By the mid-1990s, gospel music was already evolving. Choirs were larger, arrangements were more polished, and contemporary influences were increasingly visible. But something was still missing, a bridge between deep classical structure and raw spiritual expression that felt natural, not forced. Richard Smallwood was uniquely positioned to build that bridge. Raised in Washington, D.C., surrounded by church music and classical training, Smallwood had been absorbing two worlds at the same time. According to publicly available interviews, his mother regularly took him to hear the National Symphony Orchestra. At church, he experienced the emotional power of Black gospel traditions. At school, he learned discipline, harmony, and form. By age 5, he was already playing piano by ear. Later, he studied formally and even received instruction from Roberta Flack during his high school years, a detail that quietly explains a lot about his musical sensitivity. But Total Praise didn't begin as a master plan to change gospel music. In fact, it reportedly began during a period when Smallwood was emotionally and physically drained. In 1995, Smallwood was serving as a caregiver for his mother, who was experiencing dementia, while also supporting a close family friend who was seriously ill. At the same time, he was preparing a new chapter in his career, forming a new ensemble called Vision and Planning, what would become Adoration. Live in Atlanta. Caregiving, as Smallwood later explained, can quietly consume every part of a person's life. Time, energy, confidence, all of it slowly erodes if you're not careful. By his own account, when he sat down at the piano that day, he wasn't trying to write a defining song. He was simply playing. And initially, the song wanted to go in a very different direction. According to Smallwood, he felt himself leaning toward what he described as a pity party type of song. Something reflective, heavy, personal. That instinct makes sense, given the circumstances. Many songs are born that way, but this one resisted. The melody kept pulling forward. The harmony refused to settle into sorrow. And instead of centering on exhaustion, the song insisted on praise. This internal tension between what the moment felt like and what the music demanded is the first reason Total Praise would eventually stand apart from nearly everything around it. Musically, Total Praise is restrained in a way that feels almost radical. There are no dramatic tempo shifts, no vocal theatrics competing for attention, no attempt to overwhelm the listener. Instead, the song unfolds slowly, deliberately, and with architectural precision. Smallwood drew inspiration from Psalm 121, a passage focused not on escape, but on reliance. The lyrics are direct, almost disarmingly simple. You are the source of my strength. You are the strength of my life. There's no metaphor overload here, no complex imagery to decode, and that simplicity is intentional. In gospel music, where emotional intensity can sometimes come from volume or repetition, Total Praise does something different. It creates intensity through trust in harmony, trust in pacing, trust in the listener's patience, and perhaps most importantly, trust that silence can be just as powerful as sound. That choice would later make the song uniquely adaptable, something that becomes crucial to its legacy. One of the most recognizable moments in Total Praise comes at the end, the extended Amen. This section wasn't an afterthought. Smallwood reportedly heard those harmonies fully formed in his head before they were ever sung aloud. To capture them, he recorded multiple vocal lines himself using a 4-track cassette recorder, a practical solution that allowed him to test and confirm the harmonic structure. What's remarkable is how that Amen functions. It isn't a climax in the traditional sense. It doesn't resolve tension by exploding outward. Instead, it gathers everything inward. This made the ending endlessly flexible. Choirs could expand it or keep it intimate. Soloists could lean into it or step back. Entire audiences could sing along without needing instruction. That adaptability is one of the quiet reasons the song traveled so far. And at first, no one knew it would. When total praise was introduced during rehearsals, something unusual happened. According to Smallwood's own recollections, rehearsals would stall. Musicians and singers found it difficult to move on to the next piece. The atmosphere shifted. Not dramatically, not loudly, but unmistakably. The same thing happened during soundcheck in Atlanta, just before the live recording. At the time, Total Praise was simply chosen as the opening song for Adoration, Live in Atlanta. There was no strategic reason beyond setting the tone for a new chapter. Smallwood had spent nearly 15 years leading the Richard Smallwood Singers, and Vision represented a fresh direction. Even then, he had no sense of what the song would become. When the album was released in 1996, Total Praise didn't immediately dominate radio. Other tracks received more attention at first. The song's growth was gradual, organic. But once it started moving, it didn't stop. It rolled forward quietly, carried not by promotion, but by people. Years later, Smallwood would hear Total Praise performed in languages he didn't speak: Norwegian, Samoan, Italian, Russian, Hebrew, Japanese, German, French. Children who weren't even born when the song was written were now learning it note for note. Major artists began including it in performances, not as a crossover experiment, but as a moment of grounding. Destiny's Child incorporated its Amen section into their a cappella gospel medley. Fred Hammond reimagined it. Donnie McClurkin recorded it alongside Smallwood himself. Choirs from universities, orchestras, and international festivals found space for it in entirely different contexts. It was performed at Carnegie Hall. It was sung on the White House lawn. It appeared at memorials, celebrations, and moments that demanded dignity rather than spectacle. And through all of that, the song never changed its posture. It didn't chase relevance. It didn't adapt to trends. It waited. Here's where the real shift happened, and it's subtle. Before Total Praise, gospel music often faced an unspoken choice: tradition or innovation, emotion or structure, church or concert hall. This song quietly rejected that divide. By combining classical discipline with spiritual clarity, Smallwood demonstrated that gospel music didn't need to explain itself to travel. It didn't need to be simplified to be shared, and it didn't need to be louder to be heard. That realization influenced a generation of composers, arrangers, and choir directors, even those who never consciously traced it back to this one piece. And the most powerful part, Total Praise never presents itself as important. It simply stands there, steady, patient, waiting for the listener to meet it where they are. What's striking about Total Praise is not just where it's been sung, but how little it had to change to belong there. In many musical traditions, when a song moves from a sacred space into a public or institutional one, it's often altered. Lyrics are shortened, arrangements are simplified. The emotional core is softened to fit a broader audience. Total Praise largely resisted that process. When it appeared outside of church settings, in concert halls, civic ceremonies, and global events, it did so with its structure intact. Choirs still stood still. Tempos remained deliberate. Silence was still allowed to exist between phrases. That consistency sent a quiet message. This music didn't need translation. It already spoke a universal language, and that changed expectations. For many listeners encountering gospel music in these spaces for the first time, Total Praise became their introduction. Not through explanation, but through experience. One reason the song traveled so far is that it offers something increasingly rare: restraint. In a musical landscape where attention is often captured through constant motion, Total Praise invites stillness. It doesn't rush the listener. It doesn't reward impatience. That restraint is not accidental. Smallwood's classical training is visible in the way the song breathes. Each phrase has room to settle. Each chord resolves with intention. The choir functions less like a crowd and more like a single instrument. This approach subtly redefined what modern gospel performance could look like. Suddenly, standing still became powerful, singing softly became confident. Leaving space became an artistic choice, not a limitation. As more choirs adopted the song, these values spread with it. It's worth asking, why did so many established artists return to total praise at pivotal moments? Publicly available performances suggest a pattern. The song is often chosen not to impress, but to center. At memorial services, it offers dignity without spectacle. At celebrations, it provides gratitude without excess. At large gatherings, it creates unity without instruction. Artists across genres, from gospel to R&B to classical, found that the song allowed them to step out of the spotlight while still making a statement. In that sense, performing total praise is almost an act of humility. The song doesn't elevate the performer, it elevates the moment. That quality made it especially powerful in settings where attention needed to be shared, not claimed. Over time, total praise became more than a song. It became a reference point. Choir directors began studying its pacing. Arrangers analyzed its harmonic balance. Composers noticed how little it relied on novelty. Without announcing itself as a model, it quietly became one. Modern gospel compositions increasingly reflected its influence. Longer introductions that set emotional tone, rather than energy endings that dissolve, instead of resolve harmonies that prioritize blend over power. Even when new songs didn't sound like total praise, they often shared its philosophy. And that philosophy was simple: trust the music to do less and mean more. Another unusual aspect of total praise is how well it has aged. Songs tied too closely to a specific era often lose relevance as styles shift. Production techniques date them. Vocal trends anchor them in time. Total praise avoided that fate by design. Its arrangement is timeless. Its lyrics are not culturally specific. Its emotional arc is human, not situational. As a result, the song doesn't feel like a classic from the 1990s. It feels current whenever it's sung. This is why younger choirs continue to adopt it, not out of nostalgia, but necessity. The song still does something few others do as effectively. It creates a shared emotional floor, regardless of age, background, or expectation. Richard Smallwood never positioned himself as separate from his work. In interviews and in his autobiography, he often described his music as an extension of personal experience, not in a confessional sense, but in a reflective one. He spoke openly about writing from moments of struggle, uncertainty, and healing. According to his own words, music had a way of quieting what he described as internal craziness and restoring a sense of peace. That perspective matters, because total praise doesn't deny difficulty. It simply refuses to end there. That balance, acknowledging the valley without centering it, is one reason the song resonates across belief systems. Listeners don't need to share theology to recognize the emotional truth. Trust, release, stillness. Those ideas translate. At some point, a song stops belonging to its writer alone. Total praise crossed that threshold years ago. When it's sung today, it often arrives without introduction. Audiences recognize it within seconds. Choirs know when to lean in and when to hold back. The song's structure has become communal knowledge. This is a rare kind of legacy, not one built on repetition but on shared understanding. And it raises an important question, one that leads directly into what comes next. If total praise didn't rely on innovation, promotion, or spectacle, if it didn't chase relevance or visibility, why did it outlast so many songs that did? To understand why total praise changed gospel forever, it helps to see where it sits inside Richard Smallwood's larger body of work. This was not an isolated moment of inspiration. Long before 1996, Smallwood had already been shaping gospel music with songs like I Love the Lord, Center of My Joy, I'll Trust You, and Anthem of Praise. Each of these carried traces of the same philosophy: emotional honesty guided by musical discipline. But total praise distilled that philosophy more clearly than anything else he wrote. It removed excess. It stripped away narrative explanation. It focused entirely on posture, what it sounds like to stand still and trust. In many ways, the song feels less like a performance and more like a musical stance, and that's why it became the reference point. For decades, Gospel composers were often placed into an unspoken category. You were either technically sophisticated but emotionally distant, or emotionally powerful but musically loose. Smallwood consistently rejected that division. His work proved that precision could deepen emotion, not weaken it. That harmonic complexity could serve clarity rather than compete with it. Total Praise made that argument without saying a word about it. By standing at the intersection of classical structure and spiritual vulnerability, the song gave permission to a new generation of writers and directors to stop choosing sides. And over time, that permission reshaped the sound of modern gospel choirs. Most songs follow a predictable arc: discovery, popularity, repetition, decline. Total Praise never fully entered that cycle. It didn't peak quickly. It didn't burn out. It didn't become oversaturated. Instead, it accumulated meaning. Each new performance added context rather than dilution. Each setting, from churches to universities to global stages, layered the song with shared memory. When Stevie Wonder performed it at a memorial service in 2024, it wasn't treated as a cover. It was treated as a language already understood. That's rare. It suggests that the song no longer functions as a composition alone, but as a cultural signal, one that communicates reflection, gratitude, and grounding without explanation. Perhaps the most enduring lesson of Total Praise is what it refuses to do. It doesn't tell listeners how to feel. It doesn't narrate struggle in detail. It doesn't resolve tension with certainty. It leaves space. In an era where music often competes for attention through urgency, this song demonstrates a different kind of confidence. The confidence to slow down and trust the listener. That approach didn't just change gospel music. It challenged assumptions about what meaningful music needs in order to last. By now, it's clear that Total Praise didn't change gospel forever because it was louder, newer, or more accessible. It changed gospel because it was patient. It trusted structure. It trusted silence. It trusted that sincerity, when shaped with care, can travel further than spectacle ever could. Richard Smallwood once reflected that when you write a piece of music, you never really know where it will go, or who it will reach. Total Praise answered that uncertainty in the most unexpected way. Not by chasing the world, but by standing still long enough for the world to come to it.